Hey everybody, are you ready for benchmark day? I'm so excited for you. Okay, what we're going to do today to get ready for the benchmark is we're going to do a little mindset practice to get your brain in that mode of success. So what I want you to do is just take a minute and think about a time when you were really successful at something. Whether it was maybe a sporting event where you had your best time, made a great play, your team won, or maybe something you created, or maybe it was a score on something in school, or just someone was really proud of you for something you accomplished. And just take a minute and think of one or two, even three situations where that occurred. And just remember it because we're going to pull it up really clearly for the process. Okay, what we're going to do is try to anchor that feeling. There's a long explanation to that and more processing than we have time for today, but promise you we'll do it next week. Anyway, so back to the idea of something that you've been successful at, something you're proud of. Even if it was just sometime the last time you had a great day, like everything just went the way you wanted it to and the way you planned, and you just felt right at your top of your game. Now, it might be early in the morning for you when you're watching this, or late in the day, you might not even feel like trying to think of something. So if you're struggling to think of a time when you felt really successful, think of something that you've seen where you're sure another person's felt successful. Maybe it's some sporting event you saw over the weekend, or maybe it's a scene in a movie where someone was just at the top of their game. Think of all those superhero movies, anything that you've seen. And just imagine that you can imagine what it feels like to be successful. And we're going to go into that process in just a second. If you need a little more time to think of something or remember something, you can pause this and then come back. Okay, so let's start this process. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do, as I always do, is to please close your eyes. And if you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes all the way, simply cast them down because that will try to cast out, keep you focused. So not worried about other things. If your Chromebook's open, either shark it or turn it. You only need to hear me. You don't need to see me. Okay. Just close your eyes and take a breath, deep cleansing breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just know that partway through this process, I'm going to ask you to grab your left wrist with your right hand. And that's going to create an anchor. Just know that. It's okay if you do the other hand on the other hand. It's all right. But I want you to be ready for that when it comes up. And just take another cleansing breath. Think of just releasing any tension in your neck, your shoulders. Don't worry about anything. Everything's going to be all right. Okay. Now, I want you to take a moment and bring to mind very clearly that time in your life where you felt super successful, where something went totally exactly the way you wanted it to, when you maybe got that grade you were shooting for, you finished a project you had been working on, you had that amazing play in a sport, everybody was happy for you for anything. Maybe it was even the first time you tied your shoes. That is always a big accomplishment. And just bring to mind whatever that situation is very clearly into your mind. And I want you to notice every aspect of it. And just imagine that you're back in that place. And just imagine that you can imagine exactly what it is you're hearing around you. Is it other people? How are other people responding to you? What are they saying? How are they acting? And what are you seeing? Is it a celebration? Is it that finished project? Is it a grade on a paper? Or whatever it is, I want you to see very clearly every detail about that scene. Notice the colors. Notice the lights. Notice what's happening all around you. Are there any smells? Is there anything that you taste or touch? If you're outside for something, what is the temperature like? If you're inside, what is the temperature like? And I want you to really, really recreate that scene and notice that feeling. Notice that feeling coming up inside of you where you just feel like you are on top of your game. Like you're on top of your game and nothing can get in your way. Everything you do is going to turn out just exactly right. And as you're really, really visualizing this and really remembering that feeling, I want you to grab your left wrist with your right hand. or vice versa. Either way is fine. And just hold it and hold that wrist and just squeeze it a little bit and notice that feeling of being successful is really, really coming back to you. And you remember just what it felt like when everything went your way, just what was happening when you were at the top of your game, just exactly all that excitement and that fulfillment and that sense of accomplishment as everything came to fruition and turned out just the way you wanted to. Whatever it is, people around you are happy, you're happy, you feel that joy, that excitement, that clarity, that you know anything that you need is just right at your fingertips. Everything you know can come right to your mind. Everything, every skill, everything you need is right there, ready for you to take advantage of. And just notice that you're holding your wrist and you're squeezing it tighter and tighter and tighter. Just hang on to that and notice that feeling building and building and building. And just when it seems like you can't build it anymore, I want you to let go of your wrist. Take a deep breath in and out. And just notice, how did it feel to go back to that ultimate place of success? Pretty good, hey? Then I want you to notice anything else going on around you. Do you smell popcorn? No? Okay. Now take a second and put that anchor back on. Hold on to your wrist again. Do you notice anything? Do those feelings come back pretty quickly? Or that memory? Maybe, maybe not. At any rate, I want you to really take a minute and remember that last time you felt so successful and so on top of things. Getting in that mind frame is something that you can recreate. This activity of anchoring is something we will go more into depth in. And next week, you'll find out some of the science behind it. But for today, just trust me, just do it. When you if you start to feel any kind of anxiety or questioning or tension during your benchmark, try it. Just try placing that anchor, holding onto your wrist or whatever it is, and see if that helps. And remember, everything you need to know to be successful on this test is already with you. You have all the information here. You just need to believe that and take your time. Read the questions carefully. Read all of the words in the question. Follow the directions. Reread the passages that you are directed to. All of those things you know how to do. You've got this. You have got this. Now get her done.